So hey, good morning everybody. Let me remind you that trading Forex is risky, not appropriate for everyone. Your past performance, however, good or bad, is not necessarily indicative of future results. Please stay small, stay humble, focus on the long term, and never risk money you cannot afford to lose. My name is Wayne McDonell. I am the Chief FX Markets Strategist for TradersWay.com. Thank you very much for being a client. I do these sessions 7:30 in the morning, Monday through Friday, here at Forex.Today, except for the first Friday of the month, where I'm at FXStreet.com. You're encouraged to ask questions. I'm here to share my experience, show you techniques, talk about fundamentals, and prepare you for your successful Forex trading business, in which you will choose TradersWay as your prime broker. Kareem wants to know if I was away last week. Yeah, I was gone like a month, Kareem. Where were you? All right, so let's take a look at some of these things, see the moves. Oh, by the way, today is CPI. United States, American CPI, no foreign CPI, American. American CPI, that's a big one. How was philosophy class? It was great. Thank you very much. Philosophically speaking, of course. It also depends on what you mean by how. What do you mean, how is my class? See? So anyways, let me get this up in here. All right, so what do you think? Is it time for this sucker to roll over and head down to the next level? Now, I think I said yesterday, be prepared for a correction before the big drop. I'm still going to draw this because this is plausible. But there can also sort of be one of these things first. We just don't know yet. But if it was going to fall, it should fall sort of in here or even slightly higher, but now it's preferable over later. Joe, Harvard's a big school, a big university. What school does she teach? Teaching at Harvard is sort of like saying, well, I know somebody in the Army. Oh, well, yeah. I mean, it could be anything. So I don't know. No, I don't know her. So anyways, what do you think about this? Maybe it rolls over. And again, the most interesting part of this whole thing is that we talked about this being a potential top maybe a year ago. So maybe there's something to it, maybe not. I would pay attention to this too, in this sort of correction idea. Okay, I'm trying to get this to be relatively straight. You see how it could just do one of these first? So I'm open-minded to that. Oscillator says plenty of room to fall. All good in the hood. Last time we had an oscillator like that, it did drop. Cool. But, you know, if it goes a little higher, Let me change colors. If it does go a little higher, right, I'm okay with that, or it could fall down. I'm okay with that too. So that means if I'm a bear, I have either two places in which I'll consider shorting or just play it like a zone. Okay? Monthly pivot or weekly pivot, pick your M3. Okay? Oil. Hey, look, oil's going up. That's really strange, isn't it? And here's the area where it went up. So are these things starting to kick in yet? Because we're predicting bottoms and tops as it climbs up the ladder. And really, I think the news has very little to do with this. And these moves are very much just price-based. So the market is just simply churning in the sense of, it's doing what it needs to do to make money. Yeah, you could call that a triple top. Now, I wouldn't use that language because this is lower than that, but whatever. It's resistance is what you're saying, and we can both agree to that. But I think more importantly, I'm looking at like psych levels. Okay, and I think the bigger move is up here, like 50, 51. Cream says even down to the 30s. Well, again, you're applying a fundamentals, but remember, there's a whole business out there making money. So maybe, but I think we'll hit 60 before we hit 30. Look at that. Our big move, nothing yet. How are you going to play it? Well, it certainly feels like not up. Whatever. So anyways, it feels very much like not up. So maybe you chip away at it to the downside. Like, what if you sold here and put your stop up there? You're risking very little, right? Relative to the other move. You know what I mean? Peso, nothing's happened there. Nothing there. But I have a feeling it's waiting for US CPI. Right? But it'll be interesting if it does go up off of this area. But right now it's still down. Remember the orange line is a sell. That orange line is a sell. And I think that, I mean, obviously there's more. Here's another sell up in here. Working our way around, let's do the pig. On Monday, we said there were two areas in which someone could consider buying. This area here, or this area here, right? If those are areas in which a bull would consider buying, and you can see this one goes back a lot longer, this one here. If you identify areas in which a bull would buy, those should also by definition be areas that a bear should consider taking profit. Okay. Now we're back in here. If you're worried about, your rabbits escaping, you want to eat this weekend versus risk not eating this weekend, you're in a zone in which you should consider taking profit. Now, ultimately, it's supposed to go here. So it depends on how hungry you are, doesn't it? Okay. Can you see tradable moves in here, even if you didn't trade it? That there's, right? There's all kinds of trades, right? There's an opportunity here to go long. There's an opportunity here to go long. Right? There's obviously an opportunity in here to go long. A bear would have sold in this yellow zone, had an opportunity, again, at this conservative resistance. I know it's not the green zone, but I think we talked about it being the support area and the whole shooting at rabbits thing, where normally you would go for the lower, but there's reasonable, especially once you see this price action, there's a reasonable argument to say that you should at least take some of your profit, if not all. Okay, so observe the support and resistance, right? There's stuff in here. There's stuff here. I mean, it's cool, right? I think the key here is to acknowledge and remind yourself in the future how support and resistance works. It supersedes everything else. You don't need moving averages and pivot points to see that support and resistance. right? Are these areas in which a risk manager needs to do their job? And the answer to that is obviously yes. Okay, you don't know if the pound dollar, for example, will roll over here, or if it'll roll over here, or if it won't roll over at all, if it just keeps going up. You don't know either of those things. You still have to plan and prepare. It's your job. Okay? Still have to plan, you still have to prepare. That is your job. Okay? See? Very big up here. Lots of things going on. So find a way. Don't trade in anger, I heard her say. Amazing, huh? It was up for 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, 4 week. On the 5th week, it opens up. And for some reason, we're talking about having it come down after 5 weeks of up. Mickey, that's in the scalping course and it's in the swing trading course. So I don't know if you took summer school or not, but if you did, you should check those out. I know there's even one video specifically on trading gaps. I think that's the scalping course. CFT, can you define that, Joe? So anyways, we made it up to the resistance. And if you think it's an inside week, calling that R1 a top, then using standard pivot point theory, you're thinking this is the bottom, not the green zone. But if you think it's a reversal, then yeah, you're thinking down, down, down. Okay? Pretty easy trading here if you're a bear. Certified financial technician? Never even heard of it. Weird. Must be some weird European thing, huh? Hey, it's big in Bulgaria! All right. Yeah, okay, yeah. I mean, even the language is weird. A financial technician. So finance is about cash flows. And you're using technical analysis of cash flows? I mean, it's weird. It doesn't make any sense. Now, like in the United States, we have a certified financial analyst, CFA. That is huge. That's like an MBA for finance people. But a CFT, it doesn't even make sense to me. So it's like in broken English or something. Like calling what currency trading finance? Yeah. Well, then there's like, again, in the United States, there's certified or chartered chartered market technician or something. But see, that makes sense. You're using technical analysis to analyze different markets. Yeah, that makes more sense. But So I don't. So your other one, don't know anything about it. Yeah, don't pay too much. Well, Kareem, yeah, you're like, I guess it's about technical analysis. Yeah, I get that too. But if nobody cares, then why take the class? Right? You come to the United States, you want to work for a big bank, and they're like, what are your qualifications? And, I'm a CFT. They're like, what is a CFT? Oh, a certified financial technician. And they're like, doesn't even make sense. But it's big in India. Oh, yeah. And you're like, oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah, I got the certificate. So I don't know. I'm not picking on it, man. I don't know. But that's just my mentality too. Like the only reason I'm doing my graduate stuff at Harvard is because it's Harvard. I don't really want a graduate degree. Like if the University of Georgia said, hey man, come to University of Georgia for free, and you will give you a master's degree in management from the University of Georgia. I'm like, nah, no thank you. Honestly, I'm like, no. So to me, it's got to matter where someone says, holy crap, you have a graduate degree from Harvard? I'm like, yeah, why is that important? You dig that? Really? Yeah, it was a good gig. Yeah, you see what I mean? But that's just my mentality. Doesn't mean it's right. It's just the way I think. So, whatever. So, like, going back, if you were a CFA, that's like a master's degree in finance. People go, oh, yeah. So if you want to be like vice president of something at a big bank, very often they say CFA required. It's going to take you 2 or 3 years to get that sucker. People will sit up and take notice and say, this guy's qualified for a finance job, right? Yeah. So there you go. Get your CFA, man. That would be a biggie. Yeah, and Kareem's like, all I care about is bank account too, and that happens, right? They're like, do you have a CFT? You're like, no, I skipped on that, but I have $1 billion in my account. All right. So anyways, taking this down, right? Very simple technical analysis here. Once again, I'm just sort of suggesting that there are 2 ways of looking at this. If you're trading it off of pivot theory, this top predicts this bottom. And so if you find yourself, halfway through the New York session on a Friday in the middle of July, and you're sitting there and you're thinking, should I take profit here and play the S1R1 pivot theory, or should I try to get it down to here? And well, again, there's no right or wrong answer to that, but based on everything I told you this week, there's no shame at all at just bagging the rabbit and going home. Yeah, Jack Ma's funny because he's like, he was turned down by Harvard 10 times. And he's like, made it, right? And don't forget, like, Zuckerberg, I don't know. His little, what was it called, face mash? It was about rating hot chicks on campus. This guy wasn't like, I'm going to change the world. This is a big tool to connect people everywhere. It was to rate co-eds. I mean, it was a dumb premise to begin with. The guy just got lucky. Then once it got going, it got big. He's like, really? We should track statistics? This data is important? You know? So yeah, other people went in and made it a business, so whatever. Oh yeah, someone says to me when I'm on campus, hey, we're going on a tour of Mark Zuckerberg's dorm room. Do you want to go? I'm like, why the hell would I want to see his dorm room? A, I don't like Facebook. B, it's his dorm room. Why don't you go look at my dorm room? I'll charge you $10 instead of 20. Yeah, like, dude, seriously. Oh, but afterwards we're going to go to his favorite chocolate shop where he and his. I'm like, dude, I honestly don't care, and I don't care if it was the president of the United States, any president of the United States. I wouldn't care. I'm like, really? No, I got classes. Yeah, and I certainly did a lot of that, right? So, anyways, I don't know how we got onto that. All right. So, anyways, do whatever you got to do. Right, whatever you're going to do, just make sure other people care. That's my argument out of philosophy. Right. If other people don't care about your CFD, then don't do the CFD. Even if it made you a smarter person, I have a feeling it won't make you a smarter person. I think you'll get a certificate, and no one will care, or no one will care in the United States. Maybe it's like I said, maybe it's huge in Bulgaria. All right, so our gold, you already know, okay? I'm sure we talked about it Monday and Tuesday, that the support here is right around the 1200. Yeah, remember I even drew it, 1197 was the next level down. Right, do you remember that? I drew it as 1997, then I realized that was way off, so I drew it again, 1197, you know. So 1197 is down here. So yeah, all right. So $5 off the bottom, right? But at some point, and I think I even drew this, didn't I? The inverse head and shoulders. I think I totally did. Right? I think I totally did this one. So anyways, the other side of this too. It used to be resistance, becomes support, right? Graham, are you talking about London? No, Boston. Newbury. I don't know is that in the north end? I only found one proper cigar bar, and that was in the north end. Cigari, something. These, that is Cigari, northeast, I think, yeah. Yeah. Cool. So anyways, look, there's trading opportunity here, guys. Now, what happens is you probably miss them because it's so slow, right? I mean, this is a big deal. This is really slow. These are big candles. Yeah, there's a private one now, Phil. The Cigar Club or something, cigar. And there's one in Buckhead at the back of a restaurant that I like. It's not amazing, but it's nice that there's a nice restaurant so you can have a steak dinner and then you can go have a cigar. And then there's another one in the ward, one of the wards over kind of that area near Little Five Points. There's a cigar place in there, which I like, but it was bought a couple of years ago and it felt like it kind of changed, and I haven't been there since. No, Kareem, no, they did not. So anyways, guys, there are opportunities and you have to be ready. So yes, even though this went down, 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 and down, and down, and down, we did predict this bottom. And it looks like it's going to try to head up and up and up for a while. This was all clearly discussed on Monday, my first day back. Even though it had been down and down and down and down for the month I was gone, gold fell. Then I pick up the mic on Monday. I'm like, hey, this is a place where it could reverse. It probably will reverse. It will get really close to that psych level of 1200. People are going to defend it. There's pivot points and clusters of pivot points. And guess what? Boom. It might be. So a little bit predictable, maybe. Ooh, what time? 8:09. She told me in the morning she don't feel the same about us in her clothes. All right. Well, I got dollar quite weak or neutral. Certainly not strong. You have to ask yourself basic questions again, like, are you going to play this as resistance? So we already covered this. I'm just zooming in a little bit because we got our news coming out. So like on a 1 minute, are you going to treat this as a lower low, lower high? Are you going to do it on a 5 minute instead? Hey, what do you think? So if we put something short there, is that enough? So that's 15 pips. And that's 25 pips. Take a look at the daily. Beautiful little swing here, huh? If you took this on Monday as a swing trader, it was basically Tuesday morning you hit your profit target. It's always a good week when you do that. You see this? This is a classic counter trend trade, isn't it? Straight out of the swing trading course. Even the target, just perfect. You kind of clear some of this up if I can. There we go. So would you play that as your sell zone? Let me get Trade the News ready. This is TradeTheNews.com, service I've been using for over 10 years.
This is a 24-hour live broadcast test channel from the Trade the News broadcast network.
So what else do you want to trade? The USD yen seemed pretty interesting. Basically the same trade.
Further news out of India. India announcing the size of next week bill auctions: 60 billion 364-day bills, 100 billion rupee, and 91-day bills.
Okay. So it comes down, here's another sort of play the moving averages. It's pretty nice.
Seeing some initial comments from the Fed's Kaplan on Bloomberg television ahead of his expected speech today. We did hear from him exclusively yesterday as well, saying that Mexican trade remains critical to U.S. competitiveness and that some of the recent weak inflation is transitory and some is not.
So anyway, CPI, nice little scalping opportunity, especially with the table set based on the testimony by Graham Yellen. Okay, so that's in play. I think there's a little too much going on with the pig right now. How about the CAD? Do you think the CAD will break? Seems like the timing is good for such a thing. M3 to M1, isn't it? It's a M3 to M1 just gets us to the bottom, but that fills the pivot, the daily pivots. All right, look how perfect that is. M3 to M1, just a perfect day. Just gorgeous. Look at that. I mean, clearly that's what's going on.
Kaplan reiterating that the Fed expects the balance sheet unwind to have a limited impact on the markets, echoing what we heard from Yellen in her testimony yesterday and Tuesday.
So I'd maybe look at that one. Just completely out of position right now. Strong Aussie. Wonder where it's going. It's a long ways to the next level, huh? 79? Are you kidding me? Wow, look at that. So we're right here, right now. That's what that line is, current price. And then the actual top is up here, 80. No, I guess it's 79. Still, that 79 would be a terrible place to buy, at least. You know that part for sure. So find a way. It's interesting I had it stop there and not up here, huh? I don't remember why I did that. You gotta have breaking down and then up. I just don't understand why I didn't have it extend up here. Must be missing something. A math question. Sure. Oh my God, I have to read that?
We're about 4 minutes now, 4 minutes to release of the key data from this morning's data set. The June CPI figures will be out month over month, expected up 0.1%. The core expected up 0.2%.
It sounds
On
like
a year-to-year basis, both the headline and core are expected up 1.7%. We'll also see real average weekly earnings and average.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
Retail.
Sorry, bro. Don't know.
See retail sales figures and average weekly earnings and average hourly earnings for the year. We'll lead off with the CPI figures, follow up with retail sales.
Okay, just a few minutes now from the CPI. Funny, I don't think there's even an indicator on this chart.
And we're inside 90 seconds. Again, we're going to lead off with the CPI figure. The headline month over month expected up 0.1%, exclude. You expect about 5 basis points from where we were heading in, 3 basis points, excuse me, from where we were heading into the data.
Guys, I just asked you if you could hear it, and everybody said yeah. All right, so miss across the board. The only thing that came in, reasonable was core, but everything else was a miss.
Not surprising with the move up lower in rates and the weaker data. The dollar has declined 140.35 now in the euro. The dollar yen 112.57 down 72 pips, 129.92 in cable.
So what's Grandma Yellen going to say?
Down on the lows of the day, 45.43. We've seen a pretty moderate 40 to 50 pip move in many of the pairs following the weakened expected retail sales figures and the general miss across most of the CPI data.
So Sally can wait. Coming up to the DR1. Heidi, do you mean TV or do you have a Bloomberg terminal? Okay, DR1, 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 DR1. Well, Phil, counter trending is not something that I like to do. I mean, you have free will and free choice, but I prefer not. Yeah, it is. It is near 115. It could be nearer 115 first. Well, that was the one that we had set up short. Right? Maybe if not here, we had it here. Right? So we already have that done. Yeah, same thing. I mean, again, we have gold going up. So everything's kind of doing what it's supposed to do. Right? And bear in mind, it's worth saying, worth repeating, like on gold, for example, the long entry was on Monday, not Friday. If you're just scalping it north now, you're picking up crumbs. The real money was made on Monday, right? I think we had CAD breaking down to the bottom, to the downside, but stopping about here, right? Can't remember where we had it. We had it breaking down somewhere. This doesn't seem to be. Maybe it was here. Let's try it. And we got this big thing going on here. There was one with pivots, though. Is it this one? Doesn't seem to, right? Okay. But this is like a daily target, double bottom scenario for the CAD. I know we've covered it. I just don't know which chart.
And just to recap here, we did see a general miss in the U.S. economic data. The CPI figure is generally running cooler than expected, and the retail sales figure is also missing expectations. We've seen the dollar lose ground. The euro ran up to 144.59. The recent high up around 144.88. We're now backing off to 114.30. The dollar yen 112.55, touched above 112.43. And U.S. bond markets have caught a bid but are off of session highs. The 10-year note future ran up to 125.28.5, now 125.24. Yields are lower across the board in Europe, getting a slight boost lower on this latest data out of the U.S. The 10-year Moon future at 161.59, just off a new high of 161.75.
So we missed the 618 as I was kind of chopping around on my single screen. But this is a scalp. So it just comes down now, hero or zero. This is where you're able to move the stop close, let it break. Charging the line, so to speak. You got it at the 618. Good job, Kareem. Your stop should be quite close on this. Okay, we're approaching hero or zero, bayonet. There's your DR1. So you're in the situation where it's either going to break or it's not going to break, and that's why I keep saying your stop should be quite close. You know, if you entered 618, I'd probably have my stop right there already. Now I know your entry because of the spread is going to be higher, but it doesn't really matter. If you want, you know, you can play it lower, right? Certainly the lowest I would go would be like in here kind of thing, below the 786, below the pivot kind of. But the scalp is supposed to be up, retrace, up higher, right? If it doesn't do that, then you don't necessarily want to do it. Or stay with it, I should say. Yeah, I think next week's going to be interesting for this euro. I'll probably have to do a trip out to London in a few weeks. I'm wondering if I can get a good pound, or good meaning week. It was pretty good when I was there last year. So hoping to do some watch shopping. Take advantage of a weak currency. Okay, hero or zero. Got to get through the midpoint psych. One of the things I hate to do, by the way, is staring at scalps. Gorgeous. I think this is the area of like you should consider it good enough. Just kind of really watch it. If it's going to keep falling, maybe stay with it, but you're already in the good enough category. But a bad retail sales on top of bad CPI, that is pretty bad. I mean, need a little correction. Yeah, even peso broke on that, which is great. So Sally can wait, you know she can trade. Yeah, but I wouldn't trade that as a gap. So again, I cover gap trading strategies in the training course. That is not a gap. No, it might gap because the market froze. And see, I don't have a gap. I mean, it could be your broker. So anyways, did you see how I managed the risk? Where I said I'd have my stop close, and then it started moving up. Then I said I'd move my stop closer. Then it got to the actual, top here, what I call the line in the sand. Then I moved my stop to the gray zone, and now it's moved all the way up to the R1. So we had little risk, then very little risk, and then now sitting on this. Back to the, the bigger weekly R1.
South Africa's central bank saying that its mandate should be left alone.
You leave our mandate alone! Who the hell was that? Oh, that was South Africa. It's only Rand. I met a really interesting dude at Harvard from the wine country kind of out towards Cape Town. Totally interesting dude. Fun guy. You touch my mandate, I break your face. So anyways, lots of good enoughs. So we got some nice moves. You need to decide whether you're going to play conservatively or not. We got the stock market's going to open, and you know all that's good. So a miss on retail sales, a miss on CPI. Yeah, this is bad. This is bad for the dollar, for sure. But it's good for the stock market because that means the Fed's going to not raise interest rates. I got to go. I'm installing a infinity pool. So, hey, peace on earth. May the pips be with you. May your profits be above average. And I'll see you tomorrow. No, I won't. No, whoa. I'll see you Monday. Yeah, hey, thank you for being on my team, guys. I like hanging with you. Good times. Yeah, thank you very much. No, you're good people. So have a wonderful weekend. Oh, hang on. Everything just went away. Thank you, Windows. Yes, have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you on Monday. Thanks for being a client at TradersWay, huh?